Hello everyone, welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown, where we're going to take a look at every single board game campaign, finishing up in the next week. And I'm excited about this week. I'm so excited to be here in my new studio. Don't you love the accoutrements, huh? I give it an A+ for ambiance. And although you may think I don't need it, let me tell you about the sponsor of this episode, Into the AM. That's right, Into the AM is having a Black Friday sale, and it's going on for a month. That's not a Friday. That's an awesome time. You can get 60% off, up to 60% off on everything in their store, and I'm friggin' stoked. I'm bummed because I was supposed to get these to be able to showcase it for you. I'm going to have a flannel shirt from them, and I'm so excited to feel what their flannel's like. A long sleeve hooded tee, because it's kind of like a little athletic, cute fit. And then I said to them, I was like, listen, your Henleys are the most comfortable things in the entire world. And I wear the one Henley like all the time, and so I'm very excited to get another one. And then they were like, yeah, we'll give you another graphic tee just to show off, because graphic tees are cool, and all of us nerds love a good graphic tee. But I'm on contract right now. That is why I am, in this closet, a literal closet, and will be for filming pretty much anything, especially the crowdfunding countdowns for the next week. Currently, when I'm on this theater contract in Morrisburg, Ontario, doing a Miracle on 34th Street. But I'm super bummed because I had to leave to go on the contract before the close arrived. But I still wanted to do this now on November 18th because that gives you the most opportunity to think about if you want to buy something, to check out for deals, and you can use the code. Let's go back to the end because it's nice to have one handsome man on the screen. Am I getting jealous of this model right now? Yes. We're gonna scroll down just to the shirts. I lost my train of thought because that model was so handsome. But yeah, if you use my code Slippery Jim, the age-old code Slippery Jim that I got to pick, you can get 10% off the additional, 10 additional percent off. So you can potentially get 70% off and get yourself some good deals, which is important if you live in Canada because of tariffs and the scary tariffs. We might have to pay a little bit more import taxes if you're getting a larger order or specific things there. But if you're in the US, man, oh man, this is such a good deal for you. And really, truly, I love this company. I only wear these shirts now. It has replaced my entire wardrobe, and that is why I keep saying yes, please. They're like, hey, do you want to talk about us again and get some free shirts? I was like, yes, of course I do, because their clothing is it's really comfortable. And I find too that their t-shirts are really nice because I find they rise up a little bit less. I generally go for a medium. I'm 6 feet, 5'11 and a half, 6 foot, and I oscillate between 190 and 200 depending. That's kind of been my range for the last little while, and I find that a medium works well for me. But I also like a large when I'm just feeling a little bit more body conscious, and it's a little bit more floofy, a little bit more relaxed. So I can do medium or a large for their t-shirts. But I find that the quality stays so great. I put it in the dryer so many times, and it doesn't flake off. Every single item of clothing. Oh no, get them off the screen. Get them off the screen. Every single item of clothing that I have worn from them is awesome. Their button-ups. I said get off the screen, you handsome man. Oh, but it's everywhere. They're everywhere. Okay, but I gotta show it off. Their button-ups are have such a nice, smooth fabric on them too. The Henleys are the most comfortable things in this world. I love the jacket that I got from them. Even their pants are great. They're a bit tighter in the leg too, if you want that sort of tighter fit. But it's a nice balance between that a jogger and a work pant that you'd have to go into an office that you'd wear in your standard office. I was always impressed with their graphic tees because I thought they were cool. And I am even more impressed every time I get something else from them. You can go and get a basic tee that's branded from $15. And this is in Canadian right now. I am in Canadian. Get it $15 and then get an additional 10% off that too by using Slippery Jim. So I want to give a huge shout out to the AM. Make sure to use that code down below. You can use it in combination with their sales. I don't care. I don't get a commission. It just, when people use my code, they say, hey, you're clearly obsessed with us. We'll send you more stuff. And that always is nice for me. But I don't care. I want you to have good stuff. So anyway, that's the sponsor of this episode. You can tell they're my favorite sponsor because I've been talking about them for too long. And man, oh man, I have to be nice to my roommate. And so I only have a limited amount of time to go through all these campaigns. So we're going to get right into the week right now and see how many I can get through. Starting with this one, Galen's Games Mint Tin series. There's a bunch of little games for Mint Tins, a new series of 4 head-to-head Mint Tin size games that can be learned in 5 minutes, played in 20 minutes. Let's check it out and see. I'm very stressed about time right now, but we're gonna try to power through them. These seem pretty cute. 2 for 24, 4 for 40. You can get these little games. They all play a little bit differently. Oh, for $8 you can get a print and play. That's cool. Or I guess you can get 1 for 15. Neat. And they seem like if you wanted some small pocket games, this could be fairly reasonable. I like the price point, and I thought the games, at least in the breakdown in the videos that they were showing, seemed pretty neat. This first one is Dice Clash. Where you have, what I really like about this one, what I think is neat about this one, you have a bunch of different dice. You have 2 white dice, 6 black dice, and 1 red dice. And when you place your red dice, you get to use your special ability. When you place your white dice, you get to re-roll your pool. And so there's a little bit of a timing aspect here. And then whatever you place down, you use that number as like your attack or your defense stat. And so you're placing them kind of one at a time. I place this, you respond. I place this, you respond. And you have a chance to parry and defend, etc. Until one of you wins the round. And if you lose, then you flip over to your adrenaline side. And I think you probably have to win twice in order to play. Oh yeah. See, there's dice special powers. So I think that idea of placing the dice, and depending upon what you roll, you may not want to place those dice right away, and timing those things out. I think that's kind of a neat idea, which is cool. Then there's Mint Tin Monster Mashup, where you're smashing together these different these different creatures that you have. You have the heads and you have the tails. Sets their life and their energy values, and creates a unique if something happens, then something happens. If the condition on the head card is met, the power on the tail can be activated in the round. Then you roll your dice. Dice is showing how much energy you can get, and the energy you get, you can spend on boosting your attack and attacking each other. I think the enjoyment here is going to just be, hey, these monsters are fun to pair together. Honestly, it's like, oh, look at these cool combinations. I don't know if the attacking is going to be as fun as the previous one, but yeah, looks cute enough, right? If you wanted to have I'm giving it a pass because of the low price. I think when you hit the $10 price and you're like, hey, it's a cool, cute little game in a tin, sure. Is it going to be the most amazing things? No. But is it going to be fine? Yes. Heritage Farms, I think, was also neat. You're taking on the roles of chicken, fox, and corn farmers. You need to get your goods across the river to market. This feels more like a solo game. You know that old riddle about, hey, there's a chicken, a fox, and some corn. And if you leave the corn and the chicken together, the chicken will eat the corn. If you leave the chicken and the fox together, the fox will eat the chicken. That's this game, except you have to manage that on a larger scale, which I don't quite see how you're playing this against somebody. I think you're just trying to do it the most efficiently as possible, probably. And then we have Verdant, Arizona, which is a little tile laying game. You want to create a grid of ascending or descending columns and rows, but you need to share the vehicle with your opponent. And so you move the car to get something. To get a cacti car, you move it sort of 2 spaces in these lines. And then a face down card goes to a spot. So you can take a risk on a face down card. Obviously you want to take a face up card, but if you can't reach a face up card in 2 moves, the entire market refreshes. And so timing that out feels like it might be fun. Right? Building the ascending grid, who cares? But timing out how much access you have to the market, I think has some potential as well. So yeah, 4 really nice ones, I think. Cute enough. How much is shipping? Shipping is free in Syracuse, New York. Shipping to the US is about $10. Canada, $12. So you'd be paying, 40, 52 US, 50 US to get all 4 of these games. 60 to 70 Canadian right now. Our dollar is the worst it's been in like 18 years. $1 is worth 1.41 Canadian. And I should have waited. I transferred some US money into my Canadian account at like 1.39, which then when the bank takes its conversion fee, whatever, it's like 1.34. But I was like, yeah, because I always wait to try to eke out a few dollars from our terrible currency. Doesn't matter. I don't think I would want to spend $70 on 4 games that seem good. I think they seem good. I think they seem okay. But, if they interest you, or if 2 of them interest you, you can get a decent little mix and match. The price feels right for these, and I always like when the price is right, instead of the price being wrong. Like this, the price is wrong. Bobby. He didn't say Bobby. He didn't say Bobby. So if you're interested in that, that finishes tomorrow, Tuesday, November 19th at 4 p.m. Moving along to this one, which has got to be horrible, but we're looking at it anyway because we look at everything here. Cluckaneers, a pirate chicken adventure. Assemble your pirate chicken crew and compete for treasure in this strategy card game. Do we think there's going to be strategy here? I bet you're going to draw one card from the middle of the deck, but I live to be surprised. Okay, I think I might be wrong, which is nice. There might be a little bit more of a bidding aspect to this. Use your loyal crew members in open auction-style fights for loot. Collect loot all while drafting your new crew for the next round. Be careful when drafting your new crew. Some crew members will cost much more than others. Don't stay on the island for too long. You might dig up a cursed relic and end up losing that loot you worked so hard to get. Enjoy charming illustrations of pirate chickens, of course. Assemble your crew. Okay, but I want to know the actual how to play. Thanks, but I want a rule book because I could just learn it in 3 seconds if you gave me a rule book instead of however long your video is going to be. Shipping, they can only ship within the United States, and it's going to be $30 for the United States for a deck of cards. That's a bit rough. Oh, I hate you, Cluckaneers. I hate you. The end of the third round, most money wins. Oh my god. So the drafting doesn't seem like that interesting. It's like, just put the highest one in front of you and then pass the cards. Okay, you can either dig up treasure or try to steal treasure. Dig up treasure, you can flip the top card of the deck, but then that's it. Oh, so it's raw. In terms of the bidding, right? Somebody says raw, you either add stuff to the pool or you say steal, and then you push a chicken forward, but you can add a second chicken, so it's not just single bidding because you have different cards, so you could really push in. Then you take all the loot, but then swap the winning Cluckaneers with the Cluckaneers from the center of the table. So there's also the raw. It's raw. It's less interesting raw, right? When the relic is flipped, the relics being the raw tokens, but you then bid on them, and then you've got to pay for your crew, I suppose. Pay for your crew. Okay. So on the captain's card, so you depending upon your value, you got to pay that much. Okay, that makes sense. Not horrible, but it's $30, and for that you can probably just buy raw. If you're interested in this, there's a game called Raw that you should be interested in. That finishes Wednesday, November 20th at 10:32 a.m. Let's move on to this one, Pride of the Ninja, a Japanese-themed card drafting game. Step into the world of feudal Japan with Pride of the Ninja, a strategy card game for 3 to 5 players. Okay. Oh, Pride of Ninja. It's like Yokai Septet. Those are the designers. All right, a card drafting game by the creators of Yokai Septet, which was a trick-taking game. Score as many points possible by assembling a powerful ninja clan. Each choice matters, selecting the right character and placing them in the optimal position. You'll select 7 cards each round, passing your cards to hand. Choose to place your cards face up in the front row or face down in your back row. Some cards have unique abilities depending where you place them. Risk versus reward. Most cards earn you points, but some can slay you or your rivals. If you're slain, you lose points. Otherwise, you would have otherwise earned. Stay alive to stay ahead. Grab enough points to win. Prefer reading instead? Yes, I do. Thank you. In Pride of the Ninja, your goal is to earn the most PP by strategically assembling your ninis. Is that ninjas? Some neers? Okay, so you have 4 spots in your front row, 3 spots in your back row. If you're in the front, you do this one thing. If you're in the back, you do the other thing. Then cards are resolved in initiative order. Okay, so most cards give you temporary points, and if you die, then you lose them all. You can still gain points from other cards. That's cool. Depending upon what happens in the turn order. Sweet. Download the rulebook, yes, please. That was a nice example. Red background indicates the card might kill you. White background means it won't kill you. Choose a blue or red deck, so the red deck's clearly more punishing. I want to see some examples of the cards, honestly. Can we zoom in? Can we see? Like this. Gain 1 TP if you have 3 TP or more, and that happens at 5. Steal 1 TP from each player with 5 TP or more. That's also in the back row because it's secret. So there's a risk versus reward with the ninja, like gain 1 TP. You're killed if you have the most ninjas. Unless you have 5 or more ninjas, in which case then you're fine. It's like if you have 1 of these, you die. If you have 2 of these, you don't die. And so then there's some potential there of drafting and influencing your opponent, but it would be a bit tough to influence your opponent until it was like the very last card. In that case, you're going to take the thing that's going to be more beneficial for yourself anyway. So I'm not sure about that. Secrecy, total the card initiative values of your back row minus your front row. Your secrecy is 4. Oh, so you're trying to balance out like the back and forth. That could be neat. Yeah, it seems all right. I probably would prefer to play a social deduction game. If we're looking at this ninja theme, I think of Night of the Ninja by Brotherwise, which I think is quite nice. But 22 is not bad. 31 Canadian, and then I like the cost of 22. This would be something I'd be interested in picking up if it hits retail. Shipping also feels pretty nice. $6 for the US, so like 28 for this. $8 to Canada, so 30, so like $40 for this game. Again, it's $40 for like a little card game where if you go to a store, you can probably get most little card games for like 20. Not as interested when I break it down in my mind in that regard, but I can see this being interesting. I think if you like drafting, if you like math too, I feel like all the triggers are very sort of math based in that number based, I suppose. If you have 1 or 2, maybe set collection is better than just like math. Yeah, I think set collection is a better term. If you like set collection, it feels like you're trying to set collect in a way in terms of how these things interact, but I suppose that's any drafting game. Doesn't look bad, doesn't blow me away. But that finishes Wednesday, November 20th at 6 p.m. Moving along, we've got a threefer here, $4 US shipping, $9 to the EU and Canada. So is this BoardGameTables.com? No, sorry, it's Bitewing. We've got 3 games from Reiner Knizia, Silos, Chris, and Orbit. Sorry, Silos, Ego, and Orbit. We're going to check these out right now. Reiner Knizia is great, did Raw. Let's see if these beat Raw or not. Great, nothing there. So, what's Reiner Knizia's shocking confession? I must know. What is it, Reiner?
Your planet is doomed.
Well, yeah, no, we all knew that. We certainly all knew that. Silos is $55. A dynamic 3-pronged area majority game where players race to take over human society. That makes sense. Ego, extraterrestrial greeting organization, is $49. Never going to happen because we've proved ourselves and our human race to be unsavable and will just be bulldozed to be the superhighway that we deserve to be. But this is an epic push your luck galactic trek featuring a game of chicken auctions as you navigate precarious cosmic politics. Cool. And then we have Orbit, which is a tactical space race across a system of unique orbiting planets and useful space stations. They're part of the same narrative and timeline. Who cares? And you can get a bunch of tokens, like bonus tokens, depending upon which one you get. How to play. What I love about Reiner Knizia's games and his design is that they're always very simple. But they have robust decision making. It is kind of the definition of easy to learn and hard to master. I think Reiner Knizia is just a fantastic designer. But he's also made like 700 games, and not all of them are good. So, you shouldn't just buy something sight unseen. You should really investigate and make sure that it's going to be good. So here you move your alien figure 2 times, up to 2 times, because you're dealing with those area majorities. Each card can have 1 of 3 general effects. Then you activate 1 card, you draw a card from the common deck, or spend 1 of your faction cards, these faction cards down here. Each card can have 1 of 3 general effects. You can advance the UFO to the next location and trigger an abduction event. The player with the most influence earns the valuable cow, and the player with the second most influence earns the human. Sweet, you want the cows first, so you know where the UFO is going to be, and you're trying to place yourselves correct. Add even more humans to various locations, possibly trigger a mind control event. Player with the most influence at the location earns 2 humans. Player with the second most influence earns the remaining human. So again, just auctioning, grabbing things. Or you can trigger a location power event. The player with the majority influence at a location exerts that location's power event. That's cool. I think this is going to be where the fun comes from, honestly, because moving things around and yeah, I have the most, I get the stuff, that seems fine. But the power events will likely be the places where there are no rewards and there are no points. And then it gives you a reason to stay at those spaces. That's one of my favorite aspects of Rising Sun, is that when you trigger a harvest spot where you only have 1 person, you get so much and feels so good. And I'm hoping that this could replicate that feeling. A complete set of 4 humans, 1 of each type, is immediately exchanged for 1 societal power emblem. Oh, okay, so you're going to be seeding these, you're going to be drawing them out randomly. Cows are wild. Yeah, collect 5 points to win. Sweet. Follows rulebook, yeah. I'll take a look, but that feels pretty comprehensive, right? I kind of want to know if they'll tell me what the spots do, like the sheriff's office. Oh, you can get a little hat on you. Look at that. And a hat gives you 1.5. Oh, so a cowboy hat gives you 1.5. A little graduation cap gives you 2. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, all the humans are in a cloth bag where we belong. Oh, cool. And there are ways to trigger early on mind control events rather than somebody else triggering it, like this human confluence. So any time a space has 3 humans on it, a mind control event immediately happens, so you can chain things together using your cards. Yeah, this is probably going to be good. Town hall, just rearrange the turn order. Sheriff's office, migrate people to the sheriff's office. University, distinguish 1 of your people. if you move all your aliens from there to distinguish one to make them more powerful, sheriff's office. These abilities are just about like relocating and moving a bunch of stuff, like either humans or aliens, and upgrading yourself as well. The shopping mall does the same thing. Oh, it looks like there's a backside as well. Same as human confluence, yeah. Cool, so there's multiple sides. Yeah, I also like that there's different sides. Oh, and the little mini expansion is a crop circle expansion. You cover a spot to do the crop circle action. You can position your crop circle in any location that doesn't have a crop circle, and then it increases your influence in one. So that's fine. Permanent skill tiles module, you get permanent skills that you can do some asymmetry. Nothing game breaking, nothing that like if is not worth if you were to get it at a significant discount, which you might be able to get at cheaper retail, who knows. All right, don't forget the upgrades, who cares? Okay, Ego, 49 bucks. Manage your hand of cards wisely as you proceed through a series of major and minor events across the galaxy. Prepare and compose your hand at minor events, then ration your cards carefully as you bid them at major events. Okay. You can only bid with matching cards at each event. Bidding events are simultaneous. You reveal your biddings all at once. Negotiation events are a game of chicken, meaning that any cards you put up for bid do not come back to you even if you lose the auction. So it's just a punishing auction. Players are bidding for drafting order of the rewards at each event. So the highest bidder chooses a reward first, and then at least everybody will get something. But the lowest bidders may end up with negative rewards. Cool. Okay, rulebook. Great. Players proceed through a series of major and minor events, including auctions, drafts, risks, and more. Risks and egos are the lifeblood of the game, as players will frequently find themselves in a game of chicken with their rival ambassadors to try to impress the aliens and earn political power. Yes, where's the how do you win section? So you have this board. It's going to be broken down into a number of different events that are going to be resolved left to right. And if there's a little slash, it doesn't mean you get to choose. Unfortunately, it means they're still going to happen, boom and boom. And so when you finally get to this little circle, that's where you're going to have that chicken draft, which, yeah, that's what we're going to call it. And then you'll get your rewards re-up and go to the next thing, go through all of these things. And then the person with the most points wins? I don't know. Oh yeah, players can look at their own alliance tokens at any time and those are to other players. So the alliance tokens, you want to have the largest alliance with the aliens, and you get alliance tokens through drawing some from a bag. You can show a success token value of 1, 2, or 3, or a credit token value of 1, 2, or 3. So when you're going through these things, credits you can use throughout the game, success you can use throughout the game. Well, let's keep reading, I guess. Optional events, you can discard cards to draw cards. The minor events feel very simple. They're just upkeep. You can kind of push your luck here of flipping up a bunch of cards and hoping that you can match symbols. And then finally you have the meat of the game, which is the negotiation events, where you have to match the symbols that are up top, and you have to keep contributing to the events in order to get rewards. I thought this would feel a bit more exciting. I don't think it's going to be that exciting. I think this one's a dud. We're going to assume it's a dud. We're going to move on to the next one. The challenge of ego lies in looking ahead at upcoming sequence of events and deciding where to entrench your efforts and when to pull back and preserve your resources. I guess that is the exciting part. That's fair. Okay, finally, we got Orbit. Orbital race between interstellar tourists. Come on. Come on, Kamal. Come on, Kamal. To the silo system for the race of the decade. 24th century tactical space race with simple turns, challenging possibilities. Surf upon orbits, paths, teleport between hyper jump portals, beam through hyperspace. Be the first to visit all the planets and win. Play a card from your hand. Oh, okay, so you can reverse a planet's orbital direction. You can collect energy. Fly your ship, spending stored energy for increased movement. I think this must be the movement then. Advance the planet or planets along their orbital paths. Oh, okay, so that's how they move around. Sweet. Ships can ride planets to travel long distances quickly. So if you know you're on the planet, you can move around and jump to other things. Cool. Yeah, I think this might be fun. It seems like a very simple and intuitive way of moving the planets around as well. You have these lines, you know there's set paths. You can turn them back and forth, utilize hyper jump portals, hyper accelerator cannons, and fuel depots to get a leg up on your opponents to be able to bounce around. Race to visit all the planets first. Cool. Rulebook also on the page. Great job, Bitewing. Yum, 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 yum. Cool. Collect all 7 planets. You'll have a certain number of cards in your hand, which you can increase as you go through. You also have your energy capacity, which you can increase as you go through the game. For each planet symbol on the card, you must advance those planets. Cool. Oh, on the second board, there's multiple paths. So if you get to a fork in the road, you get to decide the fork. Reverse planet, take energy cube, take the maximum number of energy cubes. Cool. Fly your spaceship using the number and you travel on these little nodes, and you can use energy to fly additional steps. So you want to always spend your energy, I think, unless you need to save it to really jump a ride and catch a ride on another planet. Yeah, I think this will be fun. Yeah, run around, play a card, do the things. In this, if you're playing with 2 players, you just add in another planet. 4-player partnership mode. No, I hate partnership modes. I really do. I don't think I've ever played a game where I'm like, I really want to be partners when I can be solo. Don't think I've ever played that game. Yeah, Orbit seems fun. I like that. You can get a Ryo Knizia alien plushie. That's the funniest thing I think I've seen in a long time. All right, what's shipping like? Have you told us? Oh, yes, I just missed it. Oh yeah, I passed by. Yeah, of course they told us. It was just so long ago for me. Yeah, $4 US for 1, 2, or 3 games is insane. Like, that's so good. But are any of these games worth $70 to me? $80 to me, essentially, because that's what it works after conversion. Ego, absolutely not. Orbit, maybe. I think I'm most interested in Silos. I think that area control aspect of Silos seems interesting to me. And I think it's a retheme. It's a remaster. Municipium was one of the hidden gems that they uncovered, but it clearly needed a careful and loving makeover. Wait a minute. Beowulf was one of the strongest hidden gems we uncovered, but it clearly needed a careful and loving makeover. I mean, I don't know. It feels like a little less important for the makeover. I don't know. Short answer, none of them seem exciting enough for me to get right now. They don't blow me away, but I think Silos looks the best. I like Orbit surprisingly more than I expected to, and I think Ego doesn't look good at all. So if you're interested in that, finish Wednesday, November 20th at 10 p.m. Let's keep it moving to this one. Exopets and Mimicrys. Rescue Exopets from the Mimicry infiltrated Kickstarter spacecraft Ursula. What the dang hell is this game? It's like a weird nemesis trying to be nemesis? I don't know. You manage your crew, you try to save as many of the cute exopets as possible, but they might attack you before Ursula falls apart and gets finally destroyed, or the Mimicrys catch you. Okay, before or during your fight for survival. You have to unmask the Mimicrys and separate your exopets from these doppelgangers, and they're running around, they're trying to destroy stuff. Oof, yeah, €56, 83 Canadian. Smart, 90 minutes. Complex, 180 minutes. Oof, I'll just stay smart, I guess. If 2 equal exopets are revealed, then 1 is the imposter. That makes sense. And then you have to go and kill that imposter. One of the actions you can do is to loot every room for useful items. Yeah, get a bunch of weapons, items, combo it together. You want to launch all 3 escape pods. A person with clean exopets can enter an escape pod. The exopet escape pods must be filled with 16 and 10 exopets. All the way, crewmates must be evacuated with the crew escape pod. Okay, so you're filling up an escape pod with exopets. Basically, you need to get a certain number of exopets and put them into the escape pods and then send them out. Or you can destroy the Mimicry nest. So it's like a weird nemesis game where you're drawing random tokens and hoping to get different colored looking stuff. Honestly, I find this very charming. Total immersion. In many board games that take place in space, it's not often clear what the spaceship looks like. This is an important aspect which allows me to immerse myself more deeply in the story. Like the Nostromo, the Enterprise Galactica, or the Millennium Falcon. Well, check out my cool 3D animations. It's this one. And that's what you're playing on. That's very charming. The rulebook, I'm very scared. I'll try to get the smart game rules. Oh no. Smart game rules, an hour. Yeah. Everybody plays at the same time. You can use your actions whenever you want. I do like co-op games that do that. I think that's kind of fun. I think it makes it a little bit more easy, but there you go. Well, the mimicry phase is only available in the complex game. So then the mimics run around, they roll dice. Like essentially you run around, you explore, you roll dice to see if you can get the exopets, and you try to find the escape pods as you explore the map. Explore, move, room function, loot. So mimics can attack depending on if you're too noisy. That's only in the complex game, but probably something that you could easily implement. All the rooms do different things. It feels like just such a Nemesis knockoff, but not in a way that I'm interested in. Really, this one's all about exploration and that push your luck of drawing from the exopet pool. Because if you draw the wrong one, you're going to take damage, and then you need to get them to specific spots on the board to get rid of them. So it just feels like you need to always go to the escape pod to drop exopets in so that they don't attack you, so they don't turn into doppelgangers, right? I don't know. I see why this hasn't done well at all. 55 backers. I hope you enjoy it. It just looks like an overly complicated, a little bit too much rolling of the dice, a little bit too slow. But I think the art's really cute, so there's that. Like, the pets do look fun. It just seems overly complicated for a pick up and deliver game, which is essentially what it is. If you're interested, that finishes Thursday, November 21st at 3 a.m. I probably have time for one more. Let's do this one. Jisogi, anime studio tycoon board game. Manage an anime studio, create original stories, hire the perfect team, and carefully analyze trends to take your studio to the top. I mean, I'm already into it. I would watch this anime about collecting anime. This video is not going to tell me anything. It's just going to show me cool art and make me wish all these animes exist. Protagonist, anime protagonist, an anime protagonist. Anime protagonist power. Oh, maybe it will. Breaking news. Strategic worker placement. Looks like simple set collection, maybe? $60 US, 56 euros, 81 Canadian. So after shipping, this would be $100 for me. Well, maybe these are the types of workers you get? I don't know. Okay, so you're going to hire your staff. You're going to write your script. You have a beginning, middle, and end that they all go together. Then you're going to add art tokens to your studio board. Some more token added to the higher quality art of anime that you get. And then you can release. At the end of each round, you can release. If you do, you check for genre matches between the anime script parts and rotating trend cards. As trends go, there's a rulebook, so let's check this one out. Each card is unique. I like that. The actions player perform are driven by their staff. You begin with 4 staff, you can acquire more. Staff can either be available or spent, so they can be used. Basically, they house your action tokens. There's a production phase, there's a release phase, upkeep phase. You take a staff card, you take an action. These are your workers, right? They're essentially your workers. They come with action token, 4 sets of 6 studio action tokens. So that's just your player symbol, right? They don't mean anything other than your player symbol. So you can get script parts in 5 different colors as you want to write scripts and then sell them. Art tokens make it ready to be released. The more art tokens, the more points you can get. Okay, and each of your staff can only perform certain things, right? You can do the writing actions, you can do the animate actions, staffing actions, and they can give you specialties in more places. Sure, I think you're going to want to have a general blend of them all, but it doesn't feel like you could just invest in writing your script since you need art to animate it. Like, it is an anime after all. Like, it's the most important part. Cool. And then when you upgrade your staff, they're going to be better at certain things and they're going to like certain genres. Oh, okay. And so in terms of, it's not like complete blocked worker placement. So I suppose it's a little bit more like action selection. But the first token that's down for your worker placement, you don't have to pay anything. And then you can always go there, but it just costs you money. And so the money gives you flexibility, but you're not blocked out, which I think is important when you're going to want to do everything. Once all players have finished their action, the release phase occurs, beginning with the starting player. You have the opportunity to release an anime. You don't have to if you want to keep it around for more points, but it's kind of like, I guess, distilled in that you can only release this one before you can start working on another. You check the genre icons and you choose one of the 3 face-up trend cards that are out there to compare. And so you can see the trends that are happening. You get points for matching up in these popularities and timing the releases as well. Yeah, this could be fun. I mean, the art in here just is friggin' out of this world. It really is. I think this is going to be more about timing than anything. It's not as much worker placement as it is that action selection idea that you got to choose what actions you're going to do when. More about market manipulation. There are going to be things in the market that everybody's going to want, and you have to be able to choose to prioritize what is in the market that's going to give you the most value and take stuff away from your opponents. But yeah, I think if the theme resonates with you, what's shipping like? Shipping to the US is $15, to Canada $40. Oh! So again, it's like $130 for me, which I'm not really interested at that point. I'm sure it will be fun. I mean, the art's going to be really good, but if I want a great anime game, I can just play Attack on Titan. However, if you're interested in that, it finishes Thursday, November 21st at 6:05 a.m. Moving along, well, not really. I just want to point out that Amoebunnies, if you're interested in this game, you're not allowed because it's on the $1 pre-pledge list. So again, just highlighting companies that still do it in the hopes that it dies a horrible, horrible, painful death. Like anyone who has put themselves in ANIMALCATRAZ with Sick Bodja. ANIMALCATRAZ is up next. I'm not going to cover this right. Well, I mean, I'm going to go to sleep. But I'm so excited. Like, I'm so excited that this has hit their goal. I'm so excited that this has raised more money than Amoebunnies, because I had a conversation. Like, I did a paid playthrough for ANIMALCATRAZ, which you can check out. Zach and I had a fun time. We did that like a year and a bit ago. We did it like 2023 in May. That's when we did it. And I've talked with the creator throughout his leading up to the release process of the game. And he was like, yeah, I was looking into pre-pledges. I was looking into working with Launch Boom. I saw your video. I was like, yeah, that does seem skeezy. I'm not going to do it. And so it's just like really exciting to see somebody put so much hard work into a game and people and find the audience and have people resonate with that game. And so I'm just like so thrilled that this has funded in a right way, has the work was put in, no shortcuts were taken. to try to find the right audience for this game. And I will tell you that when I come back. But I just, I'm really, really thrilled that this is funded, because I know the creator worked really hard on it just based upon commissioning a paid playthrough a year and a half ago, and then still working diligently on it, building up that like momentum and whatever. I just think that's really cool. What about the game? Well, I'll tell you about it, but for now, sleep. All right, so let me tell you about ANIMALCATRAZ. Animal Alcatraz with sick barger. You play ferocious convicts battling for prison dominance. You can take on rivals solo and 2-player co-op teams in the sandbox prison brawler. It's for, I guess, solo now, 1 to 8 players, I'm fairly certain, as you run through the prison. There are essentially 2 ways to win. You can escape the prison. This is the prison right here. This is the prison board. And you'll start in one of your cells. You'll run out and you'll run around the prison trying to get certain items. You'll need certain items to go to the escape plan of the prison, or you can raise your stats until you start an all-out brawl in the prison, and then whoever wins the brawl wins the game. So there's 2 ways to win. All these little spaces on the board are actions you can take. Some of them will be covered by roaming guards as they run around, and you have a certain number of action points on your turn to go around and boost up your stats. The actions you can take are fairly simple. It's a lot of like, search this area, or raise your stats here, and managing your routes and going back and forth. There are also a bunch of modules which I think are now only available in the deluxe edition. Oh no, 5 progression envelopes unlockable to advanced modules. Oh yeah, in the legacy expansion is what I think it is. Yeah, which is a bit of a bummer. I would have wanted them included in the base edition rather than the Kingpin edition, because I think the little legacy expansion, those modules, do a lot for the game. Otherwise, it's fairly simple. Whereas I like having like a rat in your cell. The fun things here are ticking yourself up, ticking your stats up, and being able to do like more and more and better things. It's very much like a race. You really want to race to get your escape plan, and then race to find those specific things, to break out, grabbing these specific things, and then moving your stats up enough that you can then break out easily. Shipping to the US, $19. To Canada, 25 Canadian, so around the same, extra copies. However, he's also doing a really cool thing where there's free local pickup in any of these areas. So he's going to go on the road in a van and just drive down the Ontario tip and just, you know, deliver games in specific cities. And I just think that's like a really fun, cool idea. So yeah, if you want to know more about this, I would just, you know, go to this playthrough and we work our way through it, myself and Zach, and we have ourselves a fun time. So if you're interested in that, that'll finish on Thursday, November 21st at 11:01 a.m. Moving along to this one, Mining Colony Master Plans fulfill new goals to build an even better colony in this mini expansion to Mining Colony. This is by Dr. Finn's Games. Only $5. I don't really know what Mining Colony is, so I'm going to find out right now. Maybe I knew about it once upon a time. If you don't know about Mining Colony, please read on. Okay. Mining Colony, mine resources on a nearby planet, send them back to your home world. The game's for 1 to 4 players and includes lots of simultaneous play, so little downtime. A little polyomino game, it seems. If you like tile placement games with a puzzle-like challenge at its core, you'll really enjoy this game. Watch the video reviews of the base game to find out more. Hey, that's what I just said about myself. I hope you have a little rulebook on here, Dr. Finn. I bet you don't. That's disappointing. Can you buy the regular Mining Colony? You can get the regular Secret Missions Operatives Pack, Mining Colony Dual Print and Play, a $5 print and play. That's nice. Mining Colony and Master Plans, $20. 29 Canadian as you lay tiles down. Okay, I'm going to watch this Vassal video then. Okay, so it's just a simple tile laying game where you want to position certain spots or certain things that are on the tiles away from each other so that new things pop into the middle and they get you more points. Looks like a little drafting game. Draw 3 cards, pick one of those cards to play, put the other ones on the bottom of your deck, and then I assume all the cards get discarded. Yeah, that seems simple. Seems fun, like a little tile laying game. I think I really like Dr. Finn's from when I liked Biblios, and so this Mining Colony Master Plans includes 19 cards that provides a new level of strategy as you build Mining Colony. During each of the first 4 game rounds, a Master Plan card is added to each excavation zone. When a player chooses the resources in a given zone, she also takes the Master Plan card and places it next to her mining colony so that an arrow points to the rows of the columns. At the end, the players score additional points for each item in the row and column that matches one of the scores in the master plan. Cool. So it gives you a little bit more incentive, a little bit more rules to pre-plan. I think that looks quite simple and nice for 20 bucks, 29 Canadian. US reward only, shipping $5, 25 bucks to the United States. That doesn't feel unreasonable whatsoever. And you get Dr. Finn's big bundle for 122, 171 Canadian. $20 shipping to the United States. Copy of every game. Biblios, Quill, and Parchment. Although that's a roll and write. That's not the OG Biblios. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Well, 7. 7 games shipped to you for 122. If they're all 20 bucks each, yeah, it's not a bad deal. I wouldn't do that. That's Dr. Finn just having a bunch of overstock and be like, yeah, I'll ship it. you tell me when. But I think Mining Colony seems fun. Yeah, that would be one that I would try out. I think it would seem like a nice, simple little game. If you're in the market for that, check it out. The finish is Thursday, November 21st at 3:15 p.m. Moving along to Clandestine. Lead your secret society out of the shadows and into the light in this thematic mid-heavyweight strategy game. Clandestine. Yeah, let's check it out. This also seems kind of neat. It's going to be this big old Mancala thing where you're moving people around the board, but you want to get them into your own personal area so that you can take special actions like ascending, which as far as it seems in the video means you sacrifice the people to the gods so that your secret society can move up a little bit further. Each turn you choose a leader pawn on a space to take that space's action. The more pawns on the space, the more powerful the action. And you move pawns you used along the path rondels one at a time in Mancala style pattern. Interesting. So this is a bit different from a normal Mancala. Usually in Mancala style games, you take a bunch of people, you drop them off, and where you land is your action. In this one, you take an action and then you move the people, which I kind of like a little bit better for my own planning route, because at least you see, if you're like me and you have trouble envisioning how the board's going to look after the Mancala moves, at least in this one you can like see, okay, this is what it is. this is where the actions are going to be. I can understand the actions that exist, and then you move them along. So your society chambers intersect with public path. Use your leaders to pull universal followers in and perform your most powerful actions, because you got a bunch of stuff there. You claim power. Actions will give you a variety of benefits, from fundraising more gold, discovering occult relics. Relics are things that you can tuck under your board as well. Revealing your society's secrets. Transform the resources you acquire through alchemy to amass energy. Empower your chamber with relics. Anoint new leaders. And ascend. Unlocking new powers for your society. Basically giving you a larger hand size, it looks like. Ooh, Deluxe 89, I think, is the lowest. 1 physical copy. Oh, and then there's an enchanted. Oof. And a fully ascended. Jeez, yeah. I can see why this seems more expensive than any other game that's out there. Usually there's a cheaper version. Like you saw with ANIMALCATRAZ, right? That the base version was like 60. Oh yeah, it still would be like $100 for me for the base game of ANIMALCATRAZ. And that one I wasn't not too thrilled about that price. I'm not too thrilled about it being even more expensive, to be honest, just because the decision space is a bit lighter than what I want. But anyway, we're on this one. You're not a cult. You bristle at the term. Your members aren't fawning groupies or hooded maniacs trying to resurrect death gods, except you will ascend. And that means death. 1 ascension board. Okay, so you get to choose specific tokens that are going to be there too. Whenever you ascend, you get to do that, which I assume unlocks then that ability for everybody. Ooh, that'll be fun. Populate the relic map, so you have a market of cards that you can be going for. Oh, you also have some of your own goals of what relics you want to put under your own area. It tells you specifically these colors, and then you get a special ability. So like there's no world in which you probably won't just sacrifice everything to get that special ability. It seems like it's very important. Interesting. Society leaders are worth 2. Only the player who matches their color may move them and perform actions with them. So if they're on a specific action space, then you can also block the other players from taking that action. That's also potentially interesting. I feel like you're mostly going to be moving your own people then and picking up people along the way, but I don't know. Before performing the action, the pawns on that space move forward. Determine the strength of the action, then perform that action. That's a bit confusing. I think you do the action, like it just says before performing the action. Maybe if it's like get money for everybody on your space, you're not going to move people off the space to do it, right? That doesn't make any sense. That's not what the video showed either. So I'm going to assume it's just the better way, and we're not going to worry too much about that. Cool. So there are public leaders or there are society leaders. So there are specific public leaders where you can perform the actions. I am pretty intrigued by that idea. Actions are fundraise, get money, discover, get relic cards, reveal, get secret cards, ascend, shed your own skin, and step out into the light. Choose the suit to ascend with, pay the cost to gain your next ascendancy level. Written on the dial of your player mat, then gain a level. Purge removes chaos from your mat, clears pawns from your society sidewalk. Okay. So that's going to accrue as you go through. Choose one of your society leaders and just move them around. So I assume that's like a chain combo action, whatever. Relics go to your hand. You can only have a certain amount, and then you got to play them. And that's so you can get some chaos that you have to clear. To assign a relic, pay the cost for the alchemy trade on your player mat. Oh, so each player mat has a specific thing. Then place a relic next to an empty slot next to one of your chambers. Your society has 6 slots. What did you call me? You heard me. Each slot can hold up to 1 relic, and then they have different effects. Each time an action space is used, endgame points, and permanent effects. Cool. Discard relics and secrets from your hand, so that's how you can also pay to ascend and move up on specific stuff. Cool. And leveling up gets a bunch of points, and relics give you points. Mostly relics that you use to ascend, and the relics that you've gathered have gotten you points. And then for society leaders on specific spots. Yeah, that seems fun. I think that's cool. Kind of neat. Shipping, the deluxe is 17. Enchanted. Oh, I didn't, there's the deluxe pledge, which is a bunch of stuff. Enchanted gives you metal coins and acrylic resources. All right. Fully ascended pledge gives you a hood. And card sleeves. Yeah, no, don't do it. Don't do it. But the deluxe pledge, I mean, our dollar's really bad right now. So it's 126 plus shipping, which was like 19. It's got $150 for this game. That feels fairly standard at this point. I mean, 100 feels more standard. I'm not buying it. I wouldn't take a risk on it because I don't really like mandala stuff. But I think it does kind of look cool. I think the art looks quite nice. I think the wooden pieces hopefully will be fun. I think there'll be enough of a flow of like action selection if you like that kind of stuff, and using resources to level yourself up and getting stronger and stronger as you go through the game. Yeah, I think this one has some potential. If you're interested, the finish is Thursday, November 21st at 4 p.m. Moving along, it's Ragnarok, a feather we flock together, warlocks to weather the knock-knock of the shack that we brought to the lock of treasure. That's what I know of Flock Together. Birds of a Feather, Expansion, and Reprint. 6 new predators are on the horizon, but 6 new chicken heroes are ready to join in the fight. Gather your teammates to defend the coop. I remember covering Flock Together way back when. I thought it looked neat. I need to refresh myself on if I thought it looked really neat or if it was the other one where I was like, it's kind of fine. Oh yeah, because it's with the increasingly difficult people that you're fighting, and there's a little flip books to like level yourself up. It's kind of a tower defense game with more people. Shakira, Cluckaneers, Princess Leia, these are all very good. J.R.R. Yolkin, Sheriff of Rottingham. Oof. Yeah, it's a little tower defense game, essentially, where you're defending against people who are running towards you as quickly as possible. You have a certain number of actions. You want to maintain these chickens as they take you down, and honestly, the art is a huge draw. This first appeared on episode 111 of Crowdfunding Countdown. If you want to see my initial thoughts about it, I just rewatched that to trust Chris of the past, reading through the rulebook, and he says it seems fine. Yeah, I think the asymmetry I remember now that the asymmetry doesn't seem like wildly asymmetric. It's very much about managing those different locations, kind of Dead of Winter-esque. If you didn't have to search for anything, you just had to run around, punch people in the face, get food, eat that food to level yourself up, and get the additional bonuses. Right, there'll be move, there'll be attack, kind of standard resources. I guess I could have also just read the how to play section. Well, no, it's just kind of a whole lot of nothingness. Go watch the previous one. It is pretty expensive, though. Although shipping, oh man, that's amazing. That's great. Must be through our good friends at BoardGameTables.com. Sorry. I'll play. So shipping for $4, that feels really good. And this is why you always have to include shipping in your calculations, right? So if you're just getting the base pledge of Flock Together, it's $89 US. That was Clandestine. Clandestine is also $89 US, right? But here, Clandestine will charge you $19 for shipping. So your total is not $89, it's over $100. And here, Flock Together will charge you $4 if you're in the US, so $93. $9 to Canada, right? That makes it, it makes it a $130 game versus a $150, $160 game. And that, to me, is pretty significant. Those are both very expensive, and I'm not interested in Flock Together for that price, to be clear. But this is why I always talk about the shipping, especially when we go to crowdfunding game, right? This is why this is a factor you have to consider when you are crowdfunding things if you're not waiting for retail. And if the crowdfunding game is not giving you an incentive to spend more now than to just get it on their web store later, or hopefully get it when it goes to a larger board game store like Miniature Market or Geek and Stuff. That's not a place. right? Like this is significant, and the price is what you pay. It doesn't matter what the price is. It doesn't matter if it's $7 and $100 shipping. The game is $107 for you. That's what's coming out of your wallet. That's what you will feel, and that's essentially what it comes down to. So I love the shipping. It still feels a bit expensive for me, but if you're interested, that finishes Thursday, November 21st at 5 p.m. Moving along, not to this one, Kanata, the first Sacrament. Unfortunately, we're not going to cover that because Kanata decided to do the $1 pre-pledge, and we don't give free advertising to people who do that on this channel. So sorry, Kanata, I'm not interested whatsoever. Their whole thing was like, ooh, cooperative horror, just get the Maniac or Terrorscape or, anything else. Let's move on to this one. Quatermain, Lost Cities deck building game expansion. Expand the unique deck builder Quatermain, which I don't know what that is. More adventures, animals, and guns. Oh, America! Plus new ways to gain wealth from discovering lost cities. Sure, there's 55 backers here. I don't know what this previous campaign was. I assume it was on here. Oh, we had Race to the Ark. Oh yeah, that one, which was just, it was such a potential, such a good potential of the idea of a game that gets more challenging, that you can play it with your kids, but none of the things were interesting. Quatermain deck building adventures. It was canceled one time. It came, pledged 2,500 to get it. This is just a small person. February 17th, 2022. I must have missed this when it was, because I have no knowledge of this, but we'll see what this is like. I don't have much faith knowing their previous history, but we'll see, which is ironic considering they're a faith. Oh, that's kind of neat. So there's a way of taking out monsters as they go through the land. I can see these monsters are probably red cards, right? They're dangerous things. And they now live in lost cities, which are bonus cards that you only get to score if you've gotten the most of them. But they make it harder to fight these people. So that feels like a nice little twist on what seems to be a pretty simple deck building game. Cards only expansion, 44 new cards, 4 adventure cards, a couple types of animals. They give you additional wealth, which is what you want at the end of the game. Lost Cities is $12. Explorer, $49, $70 Canadian. And then I assume shipping is going to be expensive. Hey, there you go. Shipping's pretty good. Well, in the Explorer, not as good. Lost Cities, I guess it's 44 cards, so it's really easy to ship. Quatermain, $17 to get to Canada, $11 to the US. So it's like $60. Or for me, it's again a $100 game for what looks to be like just a very basic deck builder that doesn't have a rule book on the page. So really not interested in that, but if you are, well, let me know why the heck you are. The finish is Thursday, November 21st at 10 p.m. And the answer can't be, I know them, they're my friends. Let's move on to this one, which I hope is fun. I like the log line of this. Art Snobs, Art Conversation Chaos. 3 to 10 player party game. Can you use your secret phrase cards while criticizing art and not get caught? Will you catch others? By that breakdown, I think everybody's going to have something they have to say, and then you have to talk about art as if it is weird, and they're just trying to make up other weird things so you can slip in even more weird things. And that sounds like a pretty funny game that you might play once. To me, I gotta reload. Oh, that's kind of a nice way of rewarding people. So you can give tokens to people who are funny. Like, that's the whole game. It's like you say something funny, you give somebody a token, but you can't hold on to the tokens because if the round ends and you still have tokens, you get negative points. So I really like that in terms of this idea of a party game where you have to give people points. I've always found that these sorts of games, if you were to play it like strategically, which you don't because you want to be invited back to the parties, but if you were to play it strategically, you would just like not give out good points, right? And so in this one, you would give points to the person who's in last, and you just have Munchkin without Munchkin. But in this one, that kind of really incentivizes you to get rid of the thing, and I like that as a concept to stop people from just like gaming the game. And then you can get points for using your cards. And then a third one. Oh, and then you could catch people. You get points for catching. And, I don't think that's a horrible idea. I think you need a lot of cards. How many cards do you get? 250 phrase cards. That's pretty good. Don't read the phrase cards because you ruin the game when you do, once you know them. $25, 36 Canadian, and then shipping and tax. Shipping is only available to the US. Shipping, $10 per copy to the US. So 35 for this little game. Honestly, not bad. Really not bad for like a funny card game. Oh, that's right. It is a funny card game. But one that encourages you to make up funnier phrases and not get caught in the process. Yeah, I think this is exactly what I hoped it would be. And 25 $35. Yeah, maybe it'll hit some people. So that's why I'm mentioning it. The finish is Friday, November 22nd at 8:57 a.m. Moving along to Glass Garden, a solo game of growing succulents and minding critters, designed by Roshni Patel with art by Kwanchai Moria. Only $12. Oh, that's gone up. Isn't Bandanas usually 11? Maybe not. You know, there's an easy way for me to check this. Jason Tegmeyer's looking at me like I'm lying, like I'm a friggin' liar. Let's look at Rove. Am I a liar? Yeah, 12 each. I'm a liar. And that was August. Okay, let's see how much of a liar I am. Let's go to Battlecrest. Yeah, for sure that one was 12 as well. Yeah, I'm a dirty liar. I'm a dirty, rotten liar, and you should never trust me. Caring for a terrarium takes time and energy, unless I'm telling you about rules. In which case, still don't trust me. I just make them up. Take care of your freshly planted succulents by moving them around to develop the resources they need so that the critter don't eat them. The invasive critters, they're trying to be hungry. You create a grid of 3x9 spaces. You can take 2 actions. You can move up to 2 plants, vertically and or horizontally. Jesus, come on. Horizontally, to form bundles of resources in fertile zones, the areas where the 2 rows meet. Each plant needs a different set of resources to grow out of the soil. Those needs are met. Yeah, I just don't see what these are pertaining to. But essentially, you're shifting these around in a little puzzly grid to grow your succulents. Then the critter damages specific plants in your garden, lowering them by 1 row, and then it shifts 1 place to the right. Once it's hit the far wall, you take 1 final turn, so you get 9 turns, and you get to score a bunch of points. Want to try for yourself? Sure. Oh, right, you just have to add it to your cart and to buy it. I was just hoping that the rulebook would be there. Rules. Why don't you just have that on the page? It just makes me so sad. This only ships to the UK and the United States. It's $5 shipping, but they say for non-US UK backers, they'll have a Game Found pledge manager, so you can get it from their website. Yeah, over there on GameFound, again, for Canada, it's like $17, which is why I've never gotten a Button Shy game. It's really annoying that the rulebook isn't on the page, especially when their thing is reviews and playthroughs is not showing up for me. I think if you're a Button Shy fan, you've already heard about this. I think if you're not a Button Shy fan, I think Rove looked better. I got more excited about Rove, maybe because I actually knew how to play. Seems like a little 9-turn puzzle of shifting things around and flipping things up and down. I don't know what more you want me to tell you. What more do you want me to tell you? Tell me what more you want me to tell you. We all know what this game is. You shift, you flip some things over. Did I hit the condition on the things I shifted? Great. Then I move something over and I go, oh dang, I didn't realize it would pull my plant down. It pulled down my plants right around my ankles. And then you try not to lose. We're almost at the end, don't worry. Who am I saying that to? Maybe myself. That finishes Saturday, November 23rd at 10:30 a.m. Moving along to Tide and Tangle. Swim, dive, and raft together to become the most joyful otter on the Golden Coast in this indie DIY board game. Now, I'm clicking on this because this little golden geek. No, I'm clicking on it because there was a cute little otter, and I wanted to see if it was any good. So let's find out together, shall we? Why do you think I clicked on it? It should be obvious by now. With origami otters? Okay, that's pretty cute. Oh, that's very cute. Cool. It's like a $5 print and play, right? 7? Okay, no, that's wrong. It's a £7 print and play, 11 Canadian. 40 to 50 minutes? That's surprising. Cheerful to learn, tactical game. Players become playful sea otters diving for valuable and often tasty sea treasures. But the Pacific is never still, so the waters can move around. Friendly rivalry without being confrontational or aggressive. You try to score high, but you can also choose to raft together for mutual benefits. You probably want to play it with more than 2 people. Each turn, you roll a dice to see where the wave will come from. I see. You roll 1, 2, blah, blah, blah. You see 1, 2, 3, 4 up there. Right? Top there. Yeah, that makes sense. When the tiles run out, the game ends with everyone calculating their scores to crown the most joyful otter on the Golden Coast. I do love joyful. Joyful is... Who wouldn't we want to be around? People that make them joyful. Among their actions, players can move around the modular board. Every otter knows that picking the best spots is key to creating opportunities for diving exactly what they need later on. Leave me alone. I've had 16-hour days every day. I'm trying to speak here, I swear. Once ready to dive, you have to declare if you're going to go deep or settle for what's near the surface. Diving is easier when you can see the target, so if you explored it, you can also try to beat the odds and dive blind. Yeah, that's what I would do every time. To reach the target depths, a brave otter will do best if well rested, equipped with backup snacks, providing extra bonus. So I see they roll some dice. They got an 11, so they didn't get to 17 meters maybe. And then you have other things that can adjust your feelings. Oh, okay. Finally, you can simply flip on your back and float. How does relaxing bring me closer to all those tasty treasures underwater? It's a real dilemma. Grabbing paws with another rafting otter brings comfort no one can describe. I agree. Speaking as an otter, grasping paws with another otter, I agree. Gives you key bonuses for dives and final scoring. Plus, sticking to another otter helps make you safer against dropping your precious trophies in the water. So there is danger. You can find even more about the game on Board Game Geek. Do you have any files there? No. All the people will be credited in the rulebook. That's the only mention. That's the only mention. Often print and play games don't provide their rulebook because then they think that you won't buy their stuff. That's a real bummer that there's no rulebook on the page, unless I missed it. But I don't know. I would like to know how you can lose your treasure. I would like to know how these things get revealed. I would like to know how you can bulk up for swimming down to the bottom of a dive. Just very, very simple things. But I don't think I will. But if you're interested in that, it's €7, $11 Canadian. That finishes Sunday, November 24th at 4 p.m. And finally, we've reached the end to Western Legend Stories. Build a frontier settlement, overcome challenges, and leave your mark. More Western Legend content. I thought we were all done with that, but apparently not. We have more to come. Let's see what this one's all about. But I played this game. I've played this game. Shout out to the Kubla Khan crew. One of the only games that I played there. I guess I played a couple. You're shaping the land's destiny. So a modular board and some progression in Western Legends. Cool. Like a modular version of Western Legends. So I played Western Legends once, and I thought it was fun. It was a fun time, not one that I want to play every week. I think it was pretty simple, and it was fun rolling around in the West and arresting some naughty bad boys, sending them to jail, making sure we're lawful in this here old town. But this isn't just another Western Legends game. It's a living storybook. Immerse yourself in rich narratives, engaging characters, and thematic artwork that bring the Wild West to life like never before. While retaining much of the strengths of the core systems of the critically acclaimed Western Legends, Stories improves many new improvements and mechanics. Well, tell me what those are. Standalone, competitive, open-world game set in the Wild West. This might be, if you don't have Western Legends, 120, 170 Canadian. But this could be the way to go, or you could just get Western Legends, which is like a really thematic game. If you want to dive into the theme, I think that's fun. It's a little big old sandbox. You heard what I said. It's a little big old sandbox where you can do a bunch of stuff to try to get points, everybody racing to get points. And I do like sandbox games in that aspect that everything you do feels fun. I like being able to choose what I want to do and see if that's an efficient path to victory. Intertwined in fully replayable scenarios, you'll explore the region and carve out your own legend through your glorious or infamous deeds. They can have a lasting impact on your environment. Cool. I think these boards seem fun. They look like they only go together in one way, though. So it's not really like a modular board. It's just a board that you will play slowly with over time. Cute little saloon dice tower in the deluxe pledge for spending $170. Yeah, I better get a saloon dice tower. 200 cards. Most of the cards, well, there's a lot of cards, 52 of them are poker cards, which are used either in a showdown. Often in a showdown, you play a card and it's the highest card that wins, but they all have different effects on them as well. And then you're gaining more cards at the end. Or you can go play poker and use your cards to play hands of poker so that you get money as well, because money essentially equals points. Legacy campaign element where things expand as you go. Oh, retail pledge. Okay, sorry, that's completely my bad. I saw retail pledge, and because so many of the other ones were just like retailers deposit, I skimmed over that completely. $75, so it's only 106 Canadian. Much better. 142 people have gotten that, and then 1,634 people have gotten the deluxe pledge, so clearly there's enough there in the deluxe that people like it. But basically you can move, you can rest to draw cards, you can interact with whatever you're at, and you can use the poker cards as an action, or you can save them for when you have to use them. At the heart of Western Legends Stories lies its innovative story card system. Story cards set the scene for introducing key characters. When you fulfill the condition of the story card, you flip it over to reveal new challenges. That was essentially what happened in the main Western Legends anyway. There were all these objectives that you were searching for, so I guess these are kind of communal objectives. As you would progress through the story, unlock new map tiles. So yeah, it just grows as the game progresses, which I would much prefer a modular board, but I guess a modular board could then kind of break. If there's anything in here that I can see is different, or if it's all like, oh, legacy, it's gonna be so good, which I kind of think it will be. You can always move some NPCs around. That was kind of the main game as well. Check if you're eligible for end of turn rewards. Essentially, if you're on the infamous scale or the the Marshall scale. If you're in the Infamous, you're able to kind of get cards. And then if you're on the Marshall scale, you kind of get more points at the end. I never was Infamous because I was a good boy. End of the game scoring. Story cards, here's a heart. Okay. 7 episodes, 7 sets of story cards. I just don't think this is going to feel that different. It's nice having a legacy element where story cards are kind of defined and already pre-planned for you. However, I don't see how that would be much different from the original game, unless I was playing with an expansion, which I very well might have been. Yeah, I mean, Western Legends is like, it's a very fun time. It was a very fun time, but it's one that like I'm not really interested in playing again for a very long time. It was fun because it was new. It was fun because there were 6 of us around the table, all being Wild Wests and really getting into the theme. And if you want to really get into the Western theme, I think this is definitely a fun one because it gives you the freedom of choice and gives you the freedom of flexibility of the sorts of actions that you can do. You can do a lot of things. The wanted or being a good boy or a naughty bad boy, a wicked naughty bad boy is a fun aspect. It's also one that I'm like, yeah, I don't need to play again. Because it's just not like a high decision space. It survives off the back of its theme and its sandbox, which is really good. So it just depends on what you want. So if you want the retail, don't just wait till retail, I think, because you don't want to pay the $20 in shipping because you can probably get this stretch goal pack for $20 down the line. Deluxe pledge, like, no way am I paying $200 for this. But I think Western Legends is fun, so, you know, what can you do? It's raised a bunch of money. That finishes Tuesday, November 26th at 11 a.m. And that's it. That is it for the week in the closet of dread. I don't know if I said this at the beginning, but I'm on a contract. I'm on a contract right now, and this is the place that gets the best sound, so that's why I'm in a weird-looking spot, and will be for a while. I think I did say that anyway. But anyway, we got a pick for you and a pick for me. Every week I do a pick for me and a pick for you. The pick for me being the thing that I think is the most interesting mechanically for me, the most that I would want to get to the table next. Let's say, if I had every one of these games, I would say, yeah, let's play that one. And the pick for you being the thing that I think if you got, you would regret the least. If you had to get a game, which you don't have to get a game, you really don't. It's near the end of the year. You already spent so much. You don't even get a Christmas bonus this year because they saw all of your unplayed campaign games and they took it away from you. I'm sorry, I called the cops on you. You're going to be in prison because of all those unplayed games. But there is a pick for me and a pick for you. So let's go through them right now so I can remember. Oh yeah! Thanks again to Into the AM. You guys are great. These are all the same. Yeah. Nah, because you could play raw. Yeah. Nah. No. Yeah. Absolutely not. Yeah. Certainly not. No. Yeah. Meh. Nah. And yeah. So where does that leave us? I don't quite know. We all know that there's a pick for me. Okay, my weeb is showing, and this is so much just based upon the art and that I like it. But sometimes theme can go a long way, right? Theme can certainly go a long way. Jisogi is the pick for me because it's all about running that anime studio. I think the art here just looks really good. And I don't know. I think the gameplay is going to be fine, but I think the art would carry it for me. So the gameplay of this, you know, trying to line up and think ahead and try to get your animes in line. But I think you could really have fun building that anime pitch deck, which is what is really drawing me to it. Pick for you is tough. I think I'm going to go with Silos. Secret Interlopers from Outer Space. I didn't even realize it was an acronym. I think I am going to go with Silos. Reiner Knizia is good, and I like all the effects that you can activate at the location. It feels kind of Zuvadis-like, but not with negotiation. I mean, Zuvadis is all negotiation for like area control, and like you do this, I can do this. But this one feels like the triggering of different area control at certain spots might be fun to juggle and balance around. So I am intrigued by Silos. I think if you got that, maybe it'd be good. But really, there's no real pick for you. No real pick for you this week. Pick for you is play the games that you have. But yeah, we have definitely some middle ground stuff this week, right? Like, I think there was a lot of like, which really is, you know, it depends. Depends on your feel, it depends on your preference. For me, nothing that would get me to pull the trigger. It takes a heck of a lot to get me to pull the trigger on something. Like, the bar is, like in Food Wars, the anime, where you take a bite of food and your clothes explode off. If my clothes don't explode off, I'm not interested in the game. But if my clothes do explode off, then I know I'm playing Spicify. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. My name is Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase. And I hope wherever you are, in the closet or out, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. It's time for me to come out.